Hey,
Okay,
everybody, I'm here with Sherry. She is part of the 12-week year. So thanks for being here with us.
sure. You're welcome. No problem. I'm
Okay,
happy to
so
be here.
I'm having, me too, me too. So one of the things that I love about your journey is that this is your first round. Um,
hmm
and we've been in it for a couple of weeks now. How's it going?
It's going really well. I had never even heard of the book prior to this class, and it's really just changing my entire life and environment around me, and just no pun intended, my mindset.
Yeah,
It's really, it's more than motivated me. It's just really, kind of ignited something where I literally am taking small action steps every single day towards the things that I wrote down in my goal sheet. And that has proven to be like a manifestation tool. Like things are happening.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and they're happening for you like almost on an hour by hour basis.
Yes. Yes. Actually, yeah. Like literally that. One of the goals that I put was to embrace new opportunities because I had some life changes happen. And ever since I started trying to follow the steps outlined, just from reaching out, networking, just different I guess you should say tactics that I've employed, then the results are people are starting now to reach out to me. One of the things I want to do is, for instance, pursue more of my graphic design work and media consulting, social media marketing, that kind of thing, as kind of an additional income. Well, an income on the side,
Yeah,
per
a
se.
side hustle. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
a side hustle. Thank you. I couldn't think of the
right,
phrase. A
right.
side hustle.
Yeah,
So it's starting to happen. People are starting to reach out to me and say, "Hey, could you do my website for me? Or what do you think about this? Or, I don't know much about social media. Could you help me market my business?" And that's kind of the vein I'm trying to move into, monetize it, really make it clear. These are the services I offer. So I'm still in the beginning stages, but this book has made all the difference. The book and the group itself,
the
the
group.
fact of knowing I'm going to have to see these people and talk about, hey, what have you done since last week? Towards some of the things you mentioned. So that's proven invaluable for me as a person and in my immediate circumstances.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Well,
Mhm.
and what that talks about is momentum, right? That you really are starting to see the momentum of
Mhm.
saying, I'm going to get up every day. I'm really focusing on this one list. I'm not
Mhm.
flying all over the world, right?
Mhm.
That I'm going to get up, I'm going to focus on my list. And I took the time to make the list. You took the time to make the list
Mhm.
and 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 really have set things. Like one of the things I saw you say is I'm going to reach out to 10 people every day,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And you're
Mhm.
already seeing that fruit in just 2 weeks.
Yes, yes, very much so. In fact, a friend of mine's mother reached out to me on social media just last night, and I hadn't spoken with her in probably 2 years.
Wow.
And turns out she needs help with social media, doesn't really know how to navigate it, doesn't really have a real idea how to market her live streams. And I'm like, that's exactly what I do.
Right,
I can
right.
help you with that.
Yeah,
So we're going to have a meeting coming up here to discuss what would that look like, in terms of monetizing and in terms of services, maintenance, what could this look like? Could this be something, ongoing that I help you with? Or is this what we talked about? I can show you some simple steps that you can do yourself, and then you can decide how to move forward. But just being in that position to be talking about things that are skill based versus a job
yeah, yeah.
quote unquote, is huge for me because I've always wanted to have my own business and I guess leverage the things I know how to do in some kind of monetary way. So it's all because of having to write it down on those sheets. And particularly, I learned, because I'd never heard that, tasks versus tactics,
Right.
which is breaking it down and how to really make something happen versus just saying, hey, I want to have my own business one day. versus,
Right.
this is what I need to learn. How do I do an LLC? How do I, who could I reach out to say, hey, I know how to do this. Do you need any of these services? So that's where it's really helping me. Hmm.
So and I hear you and I talked you and I talked before this interview,
Hmm. Hmm.
just how because you and I met in the nonprofit world. So you
Yes.
got to go to
Hmm.
some of my classes.
Hmm.
So we have a history in that we see each other professionally.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
So and so then I invited you to the 12-week year and you're like, oh wow. And then you got here, right? You
Hmm.
weren't ready the last round, but you were ready
Yes.
this round.
Yes.
And it really, you got to also have some of the other prosperity lessons that we
Hmm.
learned in other classes. And
Hmm.
when we put the prosperity lessons that I teach and the 12-week year together, you went, oh my gosh, it all fits together. Now I can
Yes.
work the program. Now I can see what
Mhm.
you're saying. I watch you constantly be like, pow, mind blown.
Yes. Mind blown for sure. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing. The whole idea behind prosperity mindset. It's so much more than just thinking one day I'm going to be rich or something lofty or, intangible like that, but more realistically applying, I don't have to, I guess, quote unquote, live in my circumstance, whatever that may be. It might be less than ideal currently, but that doesn't mean anything. It's like you're literally drawing it on what it could be. Like it's a big imaginary canvas. That's how I feel. And you're drawing what it's going to look like. And
Yeah.
it's happening. So that I definitely thank you. It's happening. I thank you in this class and the group and hearing what other people, some of their goals and watching the excitement like, hey, this is what I did this week, or I was able to finally clear that table. I mean, things that seem small are huge,
They're
super
huge.
huge. And it's proven invaluable for me to stay motivated and not be, cumbered down by, maybe something not working or having to try something another way. Instead, I'm like super stoked about it.
Well, and
Like,
it
wow, I
makes
can't
you
wait to see what this is gonna look like. It's
right.
happening.
I
So
can't wait.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
That's
I can't wait.
it.
The other thing,
Hashtag I can't wait.
the other thing that I
I'm
love
writing that
about that
down.
energy is we talk about you can't be in two types of energy at one time, right? You can't be in survival mode, panicked, this isn't working,
There it
and growth
is.
mode at the same time, right?
Love
And
that.
and that is, I think, one of the things I'm the most proud of in your journey is that you
Oh,
went, oh, I have a choice. I have a choice to be afraid and
yes.
and I have a choice to not be afraid. I have a choice
Yes.
to put my energy in that window, right? Of going, let me go to what I'm growing to and not
Hmm.
stagnate and lay down in the dirt, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, how did that happen for you? How was it
Um,
that you were able to say, I'm going to choose to grow?
um, really just accepting what I'm seeing happening and as cliche as it sounds, believing, you know what? You do have viable skills, gifts, and talents. And they are able to not only monetize them for, sustenance, but you can change the world with them in your own little way. There's ways that you can use them because they are valuable. And by that, I mean, like, I use my friend's parent as an example. What you have to offer is a real thing that helps other people. So it's not like a gimme of some sort, it's an equal exchange. So that alone motivates me to the nth degree for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that is that you can trust that the energy that
Hmm.
you are naturally attracted to is actually the
Hmm.
right energy for everyone around you.
Hmm. Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Like
Hmm.
that's the other part when you hear it in another way where you go, if you just be your best self, everyone is better, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it is also that the energy that you are there to grow actually feeds your environment. It feeds the
Yes.
people around you. that by you just going, I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to learn this new skill. I'm going to try
Yep.
this new thing. It just makes the environment for everyone a little brighter,
A
a
little
little,
brighter.
a little brighter,
Exactly.
a little bigger.
And that and that's cool. It's interesting you say that because people that's one thing that no matter what the circumstance is or what it looks like, that is a common denominator. People are always like, I love your energy. I just like being around you. And for the person, sometimes in those times that are maybe not your favorite, that changes the game for you because you're like, yeah, that's right. I do have good energy. Good energy begets more good energy.
Yeah,
Just to sum
yeah.
it up.
But
And sometimes that's what keeps you going,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you said, gravitating, that's the biggest thing right there. Gravitating towards what I'm growing to and the possibilities and what's there, but maybe you can't see behind the veil yet, versus being stuck in what was or what you didn't have or what you don't have or what should be and isn't or whatever. It's such a better cleansing spot, and it just feels so clear and free and light and floofy to just be in. I'm excited about what's coming next. I can't see it. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I know that it is.
right,
Simply that. Simply that. Mhm.
right. And I think that the 12-week year and the tactics and the just it's learning to build momentum, right?
Yes.
And it started in that vision to say, oh, and the vision is to say, I can be a business owner, I can have a side hustle, I can get started today,
Yes.
right?
Yes. I can get
I can have a
started
business,
today.
I can have a side hustle, I can get
Yeah.
started today.
Yes.
And I can use the skills that I have to get me moving,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Exactly.
right? And I can reach out
Exactly.
to people today.
Yes.
And so sometimes it was just that new mantra in your brain.
Yes.
And you're just 2 weeks in to 12-week year.
Right. I can't even imagine. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like at the end because I'm looking specifically how close am I and what will I be able to look at that sheet and that date, that originating date and say, wow, I've already done this and this.
Yeah.
What's next for the next 12 weeks? What else can I do? And even really maybe some of them you're not quite what you wrote down, but here's the steps you did so far. Okay, what can I implement now, or what can I do again to make sure I get over that hump this next go round?
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see what that's going to look like. And honestly, I'm already kind of in celebration mode.
Yes,
Like every
yes.
day, I
Because
feel
it's
like
already
that. Like
working.
I
It's
can't
already
wait to
working.
see. Yeah, I can't wait to see because these little things are happening. I said, gosh, if I could just find a couple clients, blah, 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 blah. It's happening. It's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. You actually have already been paid to
Hmm.
do work.
Yes.
Even just
Yes.
so it's already here. You went
It's
from
already
having
here.
0 clients to
Yes.
1 in the first week.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That
Yeah.
is absolutely true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. From
That's
0 to 1.
manifestation at its best.
Right. It's like, here we go. And
Yes.
I love
Hmm.
the advice that you were giving about, right, being open to new experiences.
Yes.
Of just going, you know what, I'm going to have to try a whole bunch of new stuff, and
Yep.
and that's going to be fun, not a hassle.
Yes. Yes, not a chore,
Yeah,
but it's more than, I know people say the term stretching you, but I don't feel like it's stretching you. I feel like it's you didn't know that was you. Like
yeah,
it's just you coming out. That whole thing, I'm obsessed with butterfly caterpillar syndrome because I've always felt, I'm kind of like, fly around.
right,
So
right.
my
You're always
personality
evolving.
is that way.
Yeah, yeah,
So I really feel that in the lesson part of this because some of this stuff, I mean, I literally never heard or didn't really know at first. How am I going to do that? How am I going to apply that? But it's really, lack of a better word, organic. It just happens. Just let it be,
yeah, yeah,
you know, and it'll show you what you should be doing. Oh, so if I call people and say, hey, did you know that I know how to do blah, 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 blah? Do you know anybody looking for that kind of thing? You're surprised what comes back, just because you put that out there, whereas before I would have been like very behind the scenes and don't want to say. And, that's the other thing I'm learning about this from this class is it's not only okay, but it's necessary to really, for lack of a better way, say what your truth is, as far as let people know, hey, I'm looking for these opportunities. And here's what I know how to do. Do any of you, know anybody needs that kind of thing? Just letting go of that fear of, well, I don't want to say that because what are people going to think? No, you're calling a new opportunity to you, and the only way you can do that is by letting people know what you have to offer, really.
Yeah.
So you got to let it fly.
You gotta
I
let it
never
fly.
would have done that before.
And that's
Oh,
and that's new, right? I mean, that
that's
is
totally new.
that's giving yourself permission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's also, I think we're taught a lot of times to to be behind the scenes, to not have a
Hmm.
voice, to
Hmm.
wait and so forth. And that doesn't actually work when you're trying to build something great.
Right. It doesn't work. Exactly.
It doesn't work. It's not a
It
tactic
doesn't
that's going to
work.
work.
Yep.
The old way wasn't working for the
Yes.
you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Embrace the new, man.
Embrace the new. It is fun. Well, so we are walking into week 3. You've had a lot of good things. So I'm going to invite everyone that's watching us and to say, hey, we'll see you here in 65 more days. We'll
Absolutely.
see what happens in 65 days. It's
Imagine.
the whole thing. 12-week year is 84 days in a year. So
Hmm.
it's 84 days. So
Hmm.
you are, you know, 15, you're like 20 days in,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you
It's
already have
amazing.
your business idea, you already have what you're doing, you already have a client, and
Hmm.
you have, you're going to change careers. I mean, this is like
Hmm.
an enormous evolution.
Hmm. Oh, another thing. This is another byproduct of this 12-week year. One of the things that was always in the back of my mind, but you talk yourself out of things so easily, was school.
Yeah.
Well, I'm too old to go back to school. I mean, you come up with all these things, and guess what? It's because of that list. I was like, well, let me at least see. I already have like a year and a half of credits. Let me just see if I can get accepted in a program, if I can find something I'm interested in, if I can finish this degree, what's possible. And
What's
here I
possible?
am. I started class Tuesday,
Yeah, just this
this
week.
past Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that for me is huge. I'm just taking one class right now. Next session I'll take two, but just that I can log in and be like, you're a student, you did it. It went from an idea that you've been saying for how many years to an action step, to making phone calls, to doing, your due diligence, the things that are necessary, to you're in school now,
Yeah.
you're turning in assignments. It's mind blowing to me, and it
One
makes me
week.
so happy. Just that
Yeah.
little thing,
Just a little thing.
you know,
Yeah.
just that little thing.
I
That was one of my goals. Get a degree, finish your degree. You can do many things, pick one of them and complete it, and it's possible still. So I'm
Yeah.
like, am I really in school? No
Yeah.
way. That quick compared to say a month ago and where I was, um, with life changes and stuff and thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's amazing, man. It is true. What you think about, you bring about. It's
Yeah.
the fact, Jack.
That's the fact, Jack. That's the
It's a
fact, Jack.
fact, Jack. I
So
mean, that little thing has made me feel like it's proof that anything's possible. Here you thought it was just a lofty goal, and yeah, you got it still like a year to do, but you're in there. You're in there.
you're in there.
So it's possible. So that for me was it's life changing for
Yeah.
sure. Because I never would have thought I could even do that. Seriously. I
It's so
never would
good.
have tried. I wouldn't have tried. So I said, oh, it's just too late. Blah 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 blah. You talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, stinking
So
thinking, right? I mean, we just
thinking, Joyce Myers.
stinking thinking, right? What are
Stinking
you doing?
thinking.
What are you
So yeah,
doing? So
it's
yeah,
invigorating in that
we'll give a
way.
little Joyce here or there, you know.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. I love Joyce.
Yeah. So, you know, it's that this is where you get to build your own wisdom. And that's really fun.
Mm,
It's really fun to
I like
watch
that.
you, right? Because
Thank
wisdom is like
you.
our thoughts, our experiences, and our learning, and then we kind of
Hmm.
scope them into something a little bit great. And
Hmm.
and it's going to be fun to watch you build your wisdom.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, it's going to be
And
fun.
I think when you say build your wisdom, this is what I'm learning. It's the in here, but what's in here is out here. It happens. It's like it just appears, really. So it's cool. Like you're like, wow, I didn't know all I had to do was just think I could.
Yeah, think I could, right? And that's will, right? And will
Yes.
builds agency. And
Oh, I haven't
agency
heard that.
is, well, there's your prosperity mindset, right? So when we think when we have the will, we have the desire to change, then,
Hmm.
um, then we can move into agency. And agency means that I think I can control stuff. I think I can move stuff around. And that's
Okay.
what you are having now is agency. And that's the energy that you'll have the
Oh,
energy and action builds energy. And so that's what you're doing now is that you're learning that if I think I can, now I feel like I can take action. Now I can, that builds the energy to change. And so
hmm.
this is going to be a powerful time for you. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna invite everyone to come back and see our next interview in just a few weeks,
Yes.
in just 9 more weeks. Any
Yes.
words of advice for anybody who's watching your story?
Yes. In fact, I've been sharing this journey with a few people that, like me, had never heard of the 12-week year and just encouraging them to get the book, or in my case, get the audio book. You can listen to the audio book if that's easier, for time constraints, and just allow it to work for you. Just try the very basic principles, the beginning of just thinking about maybe 3 things that you really want to do, maybe that you never pursued even, or that you never thought was possible, and just wait and watch and see how you're going to make them happen. Just from every day. That was the main thing that I've been telling people, sharing with people too. It's because it's a daily thing. It makes you personally revisit it every day, but not from a place of, oh, I don't have, but from a place of, what can I do today to get closer to that?
Yeah.
What little thing can I do? Should I reach out to this person? Should I reconnect with this person? Should I try this new skill? Another thing I've been doing, just to bring up WordPress. I'm not savvy in WordPress. So I've been looking up free resources to learn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that I've come across lately in this last little journey that I realized, oh, yeah, I can do all this stuff, but I don't know anything about that. Well, what can I do to learn about it? It might prove useful later. It's come up more than once in different scenarios. So I wouldn't have done that without this, because I just wouldn't have thought of it. It wouldn't have occurred to me
And I
to
think that's the
think it could,
power. I think that's the
you
power
know,
of the group. I mean, I think it's one
yeah.
thing to read the book, it's another to show up live.
Yes. Oh, that is huge, because in the beginning, and you'll remember, I barely talked. So even though I'm a talker, I'm very like animated. What I'm learning from listening to other people share their stuff, as far as, hey, this is a goal I've had for 17 years, for instance. And it's just now, look it's happening. It made me think, well, maybe some of the stuff I thought I couldn't do, I could still do it. I mean, just having that kind of common bond. If they can do it, you can do it. So that's invaluable. I would say, yes, maybe get the book or listen to the book, but being in the group with other people is huge, because just being there, and even if you're not comfortable talking right away, it encourages you so much. Like you're sitting there maybe taking notes, or you get an idea as you're listening to somebody, like, oh, I never thought of it that way. That's what I'm going to do. Let me see what happens. So
Yeah,
that's my advice. Join
that's
a
your
group
advice.
to reinforce it. for yourself, because it's going to help you so much. But what you have in you and your circumstance, good, bad, or ugly, that's going to help somebody else too.
Yeah.
Because they're taking away from what you're saying and what your journey is, what you're doing, the mountain you're climbing to. They appreciate hearing about it. That's what I've noticed as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for taking the time to be with us today. And thanks to everybody. We're going to cut this off and we will see you. We will put stuff in the comment section. And as soon as I get it posted, I'll let Sherry post into the chat box to give you guys some other words
Awesome.
of advice.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks everybody. I'll see you
All
later.
right. All right.
Bye.